Hello everyone! Today we will open up the third Planeswalker Commander deck for 2018, Nature's Vengeance. And it's featured by Lord Windgrace. Finally, we are getting some more love for the old characters, the old Planeswalkers, just like Freyalaise did way back 2014. Now then, Lord Windgrace was one of the Planeswalkers who assisted Urza during the invasion way back, before Planeswalkers were immortal beings. And so this is proof that Wizards can actually make Planeswalkers from the olden days into cards. They always said they couldn't because the power level was too great. Well, here we have Lord Windgrace. Let's see what he does. He comes in at 5 loyalty for 5 mana. He has the Yunt colors, black, red and green. So, +2, discard a card and draw a card. If a land card is discarded this way, draw an additional card. Very cool. Alright, and this is, by the way, the deck that Wizards calls Land Matters. And you can see it by the very first ability already. Then -3, return up to 2 target lands from your graveyard to the battlefield. So it's alright to discard those lands. You'll get them back, one way or the other. -11, destroy up to 6 target non-land permanents. Then create 6 2/2 green cat warrior creature tokens with Forest Walk. We haven't seen Forest Walk for a long time. It's good to see it back. Right. Of course, we get a little booklet. A little who is who. Lord Windgrace. We get Gyrus, Zancha, and Thantis. Ugh. Of course, playing the deck. Commander rules and an advertisement. Right, now let's get into the deck. First of all, of course, we get the regular sized Lord Windgrace. Now I've played this deck. This is actually quite a fun deck to play. And yes, it does revolve around the lands a lot. But there's some other neat stuff in here as well. Right, Lord Windgrace. So the second option for commanders is Gyrus, Waker of Corpses. It's a 0/0, all the 3 colors and X. Gyrus, Waker of Corpses, enters the battlefield with a number of +1/+1 counters on it equal to the amount of mana spent to cast it. Whenever Gyrus attacks, you may exile target creature card with lesser power from your graveyard. If you do, create a token that's a copy of that card, and it's tapped and attacking. Exile the token at end of combat. And Thantis, the War Weaver, a spider commander. Ugh, yuck. Also, the 3 colors of Yunt and 3 colorless to cast. For a 5/5 vigilance and reach, all creatures attack each combat if able. Whenever a creature attacks you or a planeswalker you control, put a +1/+1 counter on Thantis, the War Weaver. Right, we get some tokens here, the Dragon Eggs, we have Cat Warriors with Forest Walk, Beast, Elemental, and on the other side, Thopter, Plant, Beast, Worm, Elemental, Thopter, Dragon. Alright. Then we go on to the rest of the deck, and I will only show you guys the cards that are new. So Loyal Subordinate. For 3 we get a 3/1 Menace with Lieutenant. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control your commander, each opponent loses 3 life. Loyal Apprentice, 2 mana, 2/1 haste with Lieutenant. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control your commander, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. That token gains haste until end of turn. And we have a Loyal Guardian, which is a 5 mana 4/4 trample with Lieutenant. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control your commander, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Then we have Retreat to Hagra. For 3 mana we get an enchantment with Landfall. Oh wait, this is actually a reprinted card. Right, Retreat to Hagra. Stitch together Acidic Slime, Baloth Woodcrasher, Borderland Explorer, Consign to Dust, Cultivate, Explore, Explosive Vegetation, Far Wanderings, Farhaven Elf, Grapple with the Past, Harrow, Hunting Wilds, Kalni Heart Expedition, Sakura Tribe Elder, Yavimaya Elder, Death Reap Ritual, Grizzly Salvage, Putrefy, on to the second half, Savage Twister, Zendikar Incarnate, Soul Ring, Swamp, Random Swamp. Right, there we go. Blood Tracker is new. For 4 mana we get a 2/2 flying, and if you pay 1 black and pay 2 life, put a +1/+1 counter on Blood Tracker. When Blood Tracker leaves the battlefield, draw a card for each +1/+1 counter on it. Emissary of Grudges. For 6 mana we get a 6/5 flying haste, and as it enters the battlefield, secretly choose an opponent. Reveal the player you chose. Choose new targets for target spell or ability if it's controlled by the chosen player, and if it targets you or a permanent you control. Activate this ability only once. Fury Storm, another one of these storm cards. For 4 mana we get an instant. When you cast this spell, copy it for each time you've cast your commander from the command zone this game. You may choose new targets for the copies. And the card itself is copy target instant or sorcery. You may choose new targets for the copy. Very cool. Nesting Dragon. For 5 mana we get a 5/4 flying with landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, create a 0/2 red dragon egg creature token with defender. And when this creature dies, create a 2/2 red dragon creature token with flying. And for 1 red, you can give it +1/+0 until end of turn. Reality Scramble. For 4 mana we get a sorcery. Put target permanent you own on the bottom of your library. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a card that shares a card type with that permanent. Put that card onto the battlefield and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Retrace. You may cast this card from your graveyard by discarding a land card in addition to paying its other costs. Crash of Rhino Beetles. I love this card. For 5 mana we get a 5/5 trample, but it gets +10/+10 as long as you control 10 or more lands. Shouldn't be too difficult. Turn Timber Sower. For 3 mana 3/3, whenever 1 or more lands are put into your graveyard from anywhere, create a 0/1 plant creature token. And for 1 green, sacrifice 3 creatures, return target land card from your graveyard to your hand. Whip Tongue Hydra. For 6 mana 4/4 reach. When it enters the battlefield, destroy all creatures with flying. Put a +1/+1 counter on Whip Tongue Hydra for each creature destroyed this way. Then we have Windgrace's Judgment. This is actually one of the more sought after cards of this deck. It's an instant for 5 mana for for any number of opponents. Destroy target non-land permanent that player controls. That is nice. That's a very good card. Here we have her. My favorite card of the entire set. Zancha, Sleeper Agent. So not just of the deck, no, of the entire set. I love this card. For 3 mana we get a 5/5 creature. That's pretty nice. And as Zancha Sleeper Agent enters the battlefield, an opponent of your choice gains control of it. Zancha attacks each combat if able, and can't attack its owner or planeswalker its owner controls. Now this is a sentence that people are often confused about, ownership and controlship. Control can change during a game, ownership cannot. If you start out with Zancha in your deck at the beginning of the game, you own Zancha for the purpose of the game. Controllership is whoever has it under their control. It's easy as that. So it cannot attack the one who starts out with this card in its deck, but can attack the others. And for 3 mana, Zancha's controller loses 2 life and you draw a card. Any player may activate this ability. Yes, so any player may pay 3. Whoever pays gets to draw a card, and the controller of Zancha at that time loses 2 life. Very cool card. Soul of Innistrad, back to the reprints. Avenger of Zendikar, Moonlight Bargain, Ruinous Path, Chain Reaction, Flame Blast Dragon, Budoka Gardener, Centaur, Vine Crasher, Moldgraph Monstrosity, Rampaging Balos, Scoot Mob, Charnel Horde, Worm, Decimate, Gaze of Granite, Lavalanche, Rubble Hulk, Worm Harvest, Sears Sundial, Grim Backwoods. We get some swamps, mountains, forests. Forge of Heroes, new card as well, featured in all the decks. It's a land that taps for colorless and choose target commander that entered the battlefield this turn. Put a +1/+1 counter on it if it's a creature and a loyalty counter on it if it's a planeswalker. And the final part of the deck: Akoum Refuge, Barren Moor, Blighted Woodlands, Pujoka Bog, Command Tower, Evolving Wilds, Forgotten Cave, Golgari Rot Farm, a Random Swamp, Gruul Turf, Haunted Fangraph, Junt Panorama, Jungle Hollow, Kazandu Refuge, Kalni Garden, Mountain Valley, Myriad Landscape, Rakdos Carnarium, Rocky Tar Pits, Savage Lands, Temple of the False Gods, Terramorphic Expanse, Tranquil Thicket, and a Warped Landscape, and again one of the advertisement cards. Popular formats in Magic. Right, so that's it for the Lord Windgrace Commander deck. Thank you all for watching. We only have one deck left to go, and that will be opened up tomorrow. See you all then. Bye bye.